Art doesn't really belong to anybody.
Not to the artist.
Or the owner.
Or the people who look at it.
Real art is something that's shared.
Real art belongs to everyone.
I'm talking to a man who has written both a mega hit, Billy Elliot, and a very smart and clever play about painters in north of England, which shares the same theme, which is sort of the resurrection of the spirit almost through art. The themes may be the same, but the plays in their size and in their craft, to me anyway, seem somewhat different. What did you learn from the Billy Elliot experience that fed the writing of the Pitmen Painters?
I sort of call the Pitmen Painters a prequel. And I was very interested in the themes of loss that I had sort of uncovered, sort of accidentally with Billy Elliot. When we wrote Billy Elliot, there was still a mining industry. It was about 96, 97 when I came up with the idea for the film. But by the time we started making the musical, and by the time we wrote the musical here, I mean, literally, we'd gone from, say, 250,000 men working in the coal mines to there's less than 5,000 now. I mean, the industry has been devastated. It's a massive change in the industrial history of Britain, and I think it's sort of the mining strike itself was a watershed. But I'd sort of uncovered through the journey of Billy, which is a bit like mine. I didn't come from a mining family, but I came from the region, and I had these conflicts about my dance. I can't dance at all, but my dance was writing, poetry, drama, and.
And what was your worry that you couldn't export that south, or that you didn't want to leave your community?
It seemed quite odd, and people in my community, you know, the other kids just thought it was just so too strange, and I was bullied because I was interested in this stuff. But at the same time, I was very lucky enough to have some teachers and youth leaders and who'd gone specifically to these working class communities to kind of try and pluck people like me out, to learn to really say what you want to say and really use the form. And I suppose what I was interested in writing the Pitmen Painters was this form of a lecture, really, that they were in a seminar themselves.
I mean, maybe in art, Harry needn't know the meaning. Maybe the meaning is not with Harry.
It's with the art. It's with whoever's looking at it.
So you can just make up anything you want it to mean?
Oh, no, you see, the meaning's in the interaction.
It struck me, since we're now at a very parlous place in British history, where, at least from my point of view, a crisis is being turned into a catastrophe, and certainly the discrepancy between the haves and the have-nots is increasing. I mean, it's transparently increasing. There's less benefits, less welfare, less opportunity. The poignance of the story is that these people are not empty; they're simply blank. They haven't been exposed to the stimulation, and that part of the wonder for them and for the audience is seeing them find meaning in themselves.
What you've drawn is political, Harry.
Oh, yeah? Well, what have I drawn?
Us?
What do you mean?
Well, you're drawing us, Harry. In the street, that's us. I mean, we've all been in that wind.
What's political about that?
Well, because it shows people who we are. Well, don't you see? I mean, it works on a load of different levels.
What in the writing of the play surprised you?
When I first wrote it, I was much less critical. I thought that if I'm writing this, I should celebrate them and celebrate their achievement. But I think when the play really started to sing, which wasn't it? We did it in Newcastle at this small theatre called Live Theatre. Then we brought it down to the National Theatre, and I felt that something wasn't working. I was sure that there was something more to be gotten out of the play, and Nick Hankner, who runs the National Theatre, said, no, it's fine, don't worry. But I wanted to have another go, so I went in, and I think the first half is really about what it is to become an artist,
right.
And then the second half is, and then what? And then the difficulties start to occur, and I think actually when when I started looking at the pictures and finding where the limits were, it became more interesting for me and actually more interesting for the audience, that this isn't just a hagiography of these guys or this group or the collective way of making art. It's actually an examination, and I felt that it didn't have to provide an answer, because the debate was the answer. That it is a problem because, you know, it's still access to the arts for working class people in Britain is still a problem, and the play is a problem play.
Basically, we liked everything. But the main thing to impress us...
The main thing
Was Van Gogh.
even when we walked into the room, we could feel that this was something special.
At the end of the first half, there's a sort of a chorus of the group coming together, and they try and work out where they've got to about their thoughts about what art is and what it does. And they say you take one set of things, a brush and some paints, a bit of board to paint on. You take these set of things and you make them into another set of things by this work that they do, and then you transform who you are by doing it. And I think I feel very clearly myself as that art is a transforming thing for the people.
That's your theme.
That's my theme, and so art is therefore political, and I'm interested in that art isn't this metaphysical thing. It's not something else. It is something that we do. It's part of our work as human beings.
It manages somehow to teach about the English class system, the impoverishment and violence of that system, about art and about appreciation of art. And it does it through humor. And it always seems to me that the only way to instruct is by pleasing, by creating joy. And that's must be an incredibly good feeling to know that you've achieved that.
Giving people a good night out and giving them a good laugh, as we say in Newcastle, is has got to be almost the first thing that happens that's the first thing I look for in the work. But it's not, it's not serious fun unless it's serious as well. And I think that the theatre I've always loved has always done both. It's always been instructive in the most generous and big sense, but also immensely enjoyable. I mean, that's what's great about theatre. That's why I'm able to bring this story about these very obscure, forgotten characters to New York, is because you can go and see the play and hopefully it's fun and you enjoy it and you laugh as well as think about it. I think if it was just a pill, it wouldn't really work, and I don't think it would sing.
And singing is what it's all about. Yeah.
For sure.
Of all these things, art is a place where all these conflicts are resolved. I mean, isn't that why we turn to art? To resolve things, to make things beautiful.